In today's video, I wanted to give you the hack that allowed me to land a bunch of clients using DM outreach and just the mindset behind how to actually do DM outreach the right way, because most people are doing this completely wrong. Okay, now, like I said, I've been using a mix of outreach, DM being one of them, to land a bunch of clients. Some of them you can see on screen here. Obviously, a bunch you probably recognize, Sebastian Skeda, Sebastian Giorgio, but a bunch of 7 and 8 figure companies. Okay, now this is just a little snapshot of the businesses I've helped over the past few years. But as you can see, I mean, this month, right? We're only 18th through, halfway through the month, and we're already on almost 12k GBP, 15k USD. Like I said, I've still got a few invoices coming up over the next few days. So this can be an insanely profitable and scalable model if done correctly. And in today's video, I want to cover everything so that you can do it correctly. More specifically, why most DM outreach doesn't work, and how to DM for every platform. So it's quite different, right? The way you DM on LinkedIn is going to be very different to how you DM on Instagram. And so we're going to go over the specifics of each environment. I'm going to give you everything you need for DM outreach to work, because there's some stuff outside of the actual DM message itself that makes the DM work. So we're going to cover that too. And we're going to go over some actual, a workflow, an example workflow of what successful DM outreach looks like, okay? Because it's less on the DM itself and more on the flow around it, all right? So we're going to dive straight into why most DMs fail. So I want you to think about it like this, okay? Because this is how most people are going about DM outreach. Picture it like you're going on a blind date, because you don't know this person that you're outreaching to. So it's like a blind date, okay? They don't know you, you don't know them. Yet instead of just going to a restaurant, ordering a starter and asking about their favorite color or what they do for work, imagine you just roll up and slap your dick out on the table. Do you think you're going to be getting a second date? Obviously not. Do you think they're going to be entertaining you? Obviously not. You've jumped the gun, right? You've got too far ahead of yourself. And so that's why, DM outreach isn't working for most people. I'm not saying you're sending unsolicited dick pics, but you're jumping the gun and getting ahead of yourself. And that's causing the lead to be like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't even know him. I don't trust him. Why is he jumping the gun and speaking to me this way? You haven't earned the right to speak to me in that way yet. Okay. So same goes with DMs. Okay. You can't jump the gun. And I know you've probably been told that business owners are busy, get straight to it. And that is true in some cases. In most cases, that is true. And that's exactly why they don't appreciate just a DM straight, like a pitch DM straight away, because they are busy. They don't know you. They don't trust you. Why would they waste their time on potentially seeing if you've got something worthwhile when they might as well just not let it enter their reality and carry on with the busy stuff they've got going on. And that's why the other method that we're going to cover shortly works so much better, okay? Because you have to remember the environment of consumption. Now, this is a concept that I got from Alan Soltanich, and, it's basically what environment someone's in dictates the information they're going to receive, okay? And like what they're there for, what they're seeking. So if you think about it, on Instagram, why is someone on Instagram? They're there for memes, boobs, there's soft porn on Instagram nowadays. They're there to see their friends' stories. Either way, they're there for dopamine, right? They're not there for business. And so your icebreaker, your first message, if it's a pitch, they're like, well, I'm not here for that. They're there to watch videos of cats. They're there to watch videos of boob shaking and bum shaking and seeing what their friends are doing, seeing their friends on holiday. It's a pure dopamine, like dopamine driven platform. And so it's not like LinkedIn where you're going to come in for the business, like come in straight with talking about business, right? That's what I mean. Is it the same for all platforms, right? Because it's not. Instagram, sure. Facebook, yeah. X, yeah, they're there for dopamine. They're there for scrolling. They're there for doom scrolling. But LinkedIn, it's a little different, right? You can see how the environment dictates the strategy, because on LinkedIn, you can be a little bit more upfront because people are there for business. So let's talk about how to make DM actually work instead, do DM outreach. Because first of all, you need a system. Or we don't want you to just spray and pray, because while spray and pray can work, it's just hard to repeat, all right? We don't want you to land one client and then be scratching your head and wondering how to do it again, because that's what leads to the feast and famine cycles where 1 month you're up, the next month you're down. And we want that consistent, reliable and predictable income, okay? And by the way, if you need help building any of this, you want help building predictable, reliable, consistent income and copywriting, feel free to book in a no pressure chat down below and we'll see how we can make that work for you. But let's get straight back to this, okay? So like I said, because we want to scale predictably, we need a repeatable system so that once you've landed a deal, you can go do it again and know that we're going to scale month on month. So what do we need for that? First of all, we need a qualification sheet, because we need to be running every single lead through the same qualification process so that we know that they're, a good lead, they fit all the requirements and they're qualified for our offer. Otherwise, if you're just sort of, trying to cram a bunch of different leads into one sort of qualification, and they don't all fit, then the outreach isn't going to hit the same. So we want the lead quality to be the same, the lead source to be the same, all of this to be very similar so that it's repeatable. Okay. Now the next is your business dashboard. This is going to be one centralized sort of spreadsheet where you keep your prospects, where you have notes about the quality of the prospects, where you track the data like opens, replies, calls booked, calls closed, everything. And it's also going to allow us to monitor follow-up dates. Okay. Because if you follow up on today, the 18th of November, and you then just sort of leave it in your inbox and maybe you flick back down and see when to follow up with old leads, it's not very repeatable. It's not a system. So once you've got the dates inside a spreadsheet, we can set reminders of 5 days later I'm going to message the people that I messaged 5 days ago. So it's great to have this all in one centralized place. The next is an optimized profile, because remember, people only do business with people they know, like, and trust. That's the KLT factors. Again, this is something I got from Matthew Volkwin, very good mentor for me back in the day. So very good concept. And we basically want to think, what does someone think when they land on our page? Because when someone sees your DM outreach, your message, the first thing they do is their due diligence. They go check your page, they go check your profile, they see if you're walking the walk or just talking the talk. So we need results. We need a bio that says who you help and how you help them and how to get in contact with you. We need proof that you're actually in the trenches, you've got your finger on the pulse, you're seeing what's going on in the industry. We need to prove competence. We also need personal factors so that they can see that we're a good culture fit and that we're a good person or a normal dude. So optimize your profile before you even waste time spending messages, because they're going to check your profile even if they do like your message. The next is you need an icebreaker, right? This isn't your outreach DM. This is how we're going to start building that know, like, and trust factor. Maybe it's replying to a story, maybe it's compliments, maybe it's just connecting over something they've posted about. You would be so surprised the amount of clients I've landed because of jiu-jitsu, just because they train, I train, instant common ground, and it creates that relatability. So the next is your hand raiser. This is something that's making them be like, oh, I'm interested in that offer. We're starting the business conversation. We're moving them closer towards a conversion event. And the last is your follow-ups. Okay, so let's go through a flow of what successful DM outreach looks like. Because first of all, like I said, we need to qualify the prospect. We need to make sure that they fit our offer. They're right for our offer. Then we want to start to engage with their content, whether that's likes, comments, just starting to bridge that gap, starting to take them from, us not being in their world to us being in their world. Get them used to seeing your name popping up, your profile picture, your face, okay? Because we want to create this connection as early as possible. Next, we want to enter the primary DMs by reacting to or replying to a story. Because what's the point in sending a bunch of DMs if you're just going into their requests anyway? Let's start by just doing a low hanging fruit, reply and react to stories. So we're building that connection, we're focusing on a relationship, we're forming that that know, like, and trust, but we're also getting into primary inbox, okay? Once we're in there, we want to focus on building a relationship first. Business comes second. Remember where you are. We're here to connect with people. We're here for dopamine. It's social media. So be social. Be here, not with your commission breath trying to seek a deal. Be there trying to focus and build that relationship. And this is where the magic actually happens from DM outreach. Because once you've broken the ice, you found something in common, and you've built some know, like, and trust, you can test some hand raisers. You can test the waters. You can see if they're interested in a loom, a doc, a this, and some information, whatever it is, right? But you need to respect the environment and ask before transitioning into a sales conversation. And look, as a business owner, I can tell you how fucking annoying it is getting shitty DM outreach where they don't respect this and they just go straight into a sales conversation. And I'm like, you don't even know me. You don't know my business. You definitely don't care for me. I can just smell your commission breath. So business owners really respect when you ask before transitioning into a sales conversation. You're respecting their boundaries. You're seeing them as a human. You're not just seeing them as a source of income for you. So business owners really like that, and I can tell you that from experience. So we don't want to push from just being this random guy to all of a sudden I want you on a sales call. No, we want networking calls, we want connection calls, we want to see how we can help each other. You want to get someone on a call so you can give them a specific offer, a benefit, something they can actually get on that call. So let's say you're doing a social media offer. Oh, well, how about we jump on a call and I give you 4 content angles you can test, and I'll let you use my content management system so you can get rolling with it straight away. That is still going to be a potential sales call. Once they're on the phone, they might be like, oh, what does this look like when you do it for clients? But it's a much much easier sell than trying to be like, oh, let's jump on a call, because they know that call that you're proposing, when you're not proposing like an offer or something you're going to give them on that call, they know that other call is a sales call, and that comes with resistance. All right. So when you follow up after this, make sure that every follow up adds something, adds value. Oh, here's how it happened for another client. Oh, here's what I noticed on your page. Oh, here's, just solvable opportunities and actually follow up with value, so that each follow up adds something to their life and it's not just like there to take. So no, the last thing you want to do is pitch 100 people a day. All right. And although you can hit volume, upfront pitch 100 people a day, because although you can hit volume, successful DM outreach comes from nurturing relationships. So you want to balance it with your emails, balance it with your gigs, and just keep your pipeline full with a mix of all of these different strategies, because they've all got different pros and cons. Okay, so hopefully this gives you an actual, overview and the right way to do DM outreach, because I see so many people just send in pictures straight away, looms up front, this up front, and it's like, you're in the wrong place for that. On LinkedIn, maybe, but on Instagram, Facebook, let's peel it back a bit. You want to see it more as a slow burner. It's a long-term client acquisition channel where you're using your profile, your personal branding posts, your know, like, and trust factors, and those nurturing conversations to bring people slowly closer to a conversion event, rather than trying to force it straight away in the first message. So if you want help, you want me to write your DM outreach, you want me to set up all these systems, give you my qualification sheets, my business dashboard, everything, feel free to book in a call down below. But if not, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.